Go. Hello and welcome to Easy Boards Big Board. So well done for clicking, and we know what you're going to do, but I'm now going to explain the whole board to you and show you how we deal with it before we start going into detail, right? So even in this board on your sheet of paper, you want to do the same thing, which is break it down. So I'm going to take a rod, right? I'm going to separate it. So this side on the left is going to have the rod attached to it because this is one important bit. But the middle bit is also there, and the other bit has got a really different rod, and that's going on this side because that is about something fairly specific. Just to let you know, the first bit is all about control, right? So that's being in control of the situation and running it in a certain way, right? Second part is all about a very important plan, right? So this is very important, obviously, but also it's a plan, right? And we're going to structure that in a very different way. So you've got a very important plan, but also over here in a slightly different color is a checklist, right? So that's the checklist, and that's in red, and I'll come back to that in a second as well, but it's very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with all this and we're going to examine how it works, but just bear in mind that you are now in the bronze section, aren't you? Right, so what that means is, because you're in the bronze section, this is all about understanding, right? It's all about understanding. And it's basic in some respects, but it's also the very important bit to get right. And it's not only about just that, it's all about as well, we're in jigsaw number 1. And jigsaw number 1 was all about, do you remember? Time. Brilliant. Okay, it's all about time. Okay, and not just that, we're going to do it all in 9 minutes, right? And we need to get it done in 9 minutes because 9 minutes is all a very important thing. So we're going to move quite quick around it, and even that we mean still going to give time to give an example, which is all about cars. So driving a car. Why is this like driving a car? I'll come out with that in a second. So what we're going to do, we're going to take it all the way through. But importantly, is this right for you? Well, goodness me, yes, time. Time is one of the most incredibly important things ever. And what we're going to do, you're going to show you why it's so important and let you have a think about it, okay? But it's something that a lot of people don't necessarily focus on properly, but we want to help you to get there in the most efficient way, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to explain it, and also when you're starting to build a plan and build it together, most people spend, more time on their 2-week holiday annually than they do about their long-term future. So what we want to make sure is that we get this done first and you get to understand it. So what we're going to do is, very importantly, we're just going to stand that actually time is more important than money, and can be. Why? Because you can spend more time earning money, but you can't spend more time getting more time. It doesn't work that way, right? So it's only one fixed element. So what we're going to do, we're going to now take it to the big board, right? And what I'm going to do is explain and show you how it works. But the important bit is I'm going to do it in a very interesting way, but also I'm going to use this pen, which is the black pen for the facts, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to do it that way, and I'm going to actually put my own personal bit on a little piece of paper. I think on the back of an envelope I'm going to write all this down on, and you might do the same. But the important thing for you is to follow it through. You're going to choose what you want to do and how you want to put it together, but I would say do it for you personally because it's what's important for you. But there again, together, we are going to do it together, and also we're going to do it in privacy because nobody else knows, just you and me, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to get going. So it's all about time, and are you ready to go? Right, let's do it. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is take the first black pen, and I'm just going to set a time limit from the beginning to the end, and that's a time. So it's a groundwork for part we're on first. And I know for me, when it all started with basically just a start process. It was basically a start sign, and that just basically meant it was the 0 position because I was born. Now, I believe you were born as well, so the black fact means we're still on the fact area. And when Paul was born, he was like, he was waking up into this thing, and he's like looking up, and he's like, well, what the hell am I going to do here? What's going on? What's the deal? But I also know later on it's going to be different, and that means there is going to be a finish. right? Now all I'm going to say at this stage is that's what I mean, it's a finish. So there is a start and there is a finish, and as far as I'm aware, I can't find anything else that is definitely the case. But I still don't understand how I feel about that, and I'm not sure what I'm going to be thinking or where I'm going to be going with this. But it is a case, I'll just leave that for me to get through and try and work out what on earth's going on. But what I'm doing is just putting the groundwork down first, but also not just when I was 0 and I was born. Paul was there, and he was there from 0, but now, believe it or not, he's actually here and he is aged 43. Now, thank you, I know I don't look 43, but you know, that's just the truth, I am. But not just that, there's also somebody else here as well. And that's just not me. I'm going to tell you about someone else called Sarah, right? And she was also 0 at that point, but she is now 34. Right? So she's a bit younger than me. But what I'm going to do also is I'm just going to put a little position in there, and I'm going to take the age of youngness out of it a little bit. I'm going to say all from the age of 25, I became a proper adult and I got older and that was it. But before then I was a bit much younger, but I've picked that age, okay? And the same for Sarah, she was 25 there, but there's one more woman, or girl, and she was called Fern. Now she's much younger, and there she was actually 0, and here she was 5, right? She's only 5 years old. So the important thing there is saying, actually, I've just put these basic facts down. I know it's going to be different for everybody, but the important thing as well, we need to go to the checklist. And Mr. Checklist is very important. He wants to know some facts and record them all the way through, right? So he wants to know, in the red pen, he said, okay, number 1, which is Paul, we know the position. I want to know A and I want to know B. And A was 1A, which is the age 25. He's marked that when the age you start. But also there's 1B, right, which is the next bit where you are. So in 1A that was 25, and 1B it was 43, right? That's actually a position. But also there was another one, that's Sarah. So he wants to know, okay, number 2 is Sarah, and she's got a slightly different one, but she's going to have 2A there, which is the beginning one, and she has 2B, which is the current one. And that, in this one, is still 25, but that one is 34. But there's one more, isn't there? And this is Fern, and we want number 3, and that's A, and number 3, and that's B, right? So Fern at number 3, she's much younger, but she was actually 0 there, and she's 5 there, right? So now what we've done, I'm going to give this pen back to the man himself, who's keeping control of this, but you've set that up, and you've built the foundations, and that's where it is. So what you're going to now do is say, okay, well, what do you do next? Well, the most important thing is just to remember, you are going to feel as if, oh no, I'm younger than 43, I'm much younger than this, it's so young. On the other side is I'm above 43, I'm much older, you know. It doesn't make any difference. It's the example age at this position, but we're going to take it further. So even if you've got it different, it doesn't matter. The most important thing to know is that what you've done is a great thing, and you've actually put the foundations in place, and this is the important element. If you hadn't done this, if you hadn't got it, and you had to make decisions going forward, we can't build on this, we can't take it further, because things we don't know. But it's very important that we start having this in the line items, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to change it further as we go forward, and what we're also going to do is put a tick on it, because goodness me, look what you've done, you've got the big tick. Not only that though, we're going to score it, and you are going to be the person who puts the score on. So it's either going to be a red, which means I'm not sure about this, don't get it. It's going to be an amber, which is, I think, I know you might need a bit more help, but I think I'm getting there. Or green, which is, this is easy, come on, let's move on, let's get there, right? So we're going to do that, and we're going to take this score and we're going to get to the other side. But most importantly, we then also want to know, once we get to the other side, how do we put it back in the plan that we started off in? But importantly for me, I'm going to need a cup of tea. So I'm taking my cup, which which I'm in the 40 group. Yeah, you know, well, you know, it's right for me. But yeah, no. Anyway, I'll see you on the other side, and this is useful for anybody else. Please do share it. Okay. So see you soon. But there again, I wish I love the 30. I wish I took the 30 mug, but never mind. But actually, you know, the best one for me ever was the 20 mug. I wish I was still in the 20 mug. Anyway. Hello, and we're back to the planning area, right? So what we've got the overall plan, and I've got my cup of tea, which I actually put in the younger mug because I wanted to just remember what it's like in history. But anyway, what we're actually trying to do is say, right, where are we getting to? And the score for me on mine was red, amber, green. It was green, and I'm going to put that one a number there because that was fairly straightforward. I did get it. I was absolutely fine with it, and not just the green, but it also scores a 1, right? And that 1 is a full score. So what we're going to do as well, we're going to go into number 2, and we're going to say, okay, if you can remember what this one is, it's not about time, but it's to do with something being with them, right? So we'll check this, so we'll see you in the next video, and we'll take it from there. See you soon.